This is Math 2, 11.5 notes. That's Math 2, Unit 11, Lesson 5. The title is Quadratic Formula and Applications. Okay, what we're going to talk about first is it is a new formula, and it's called the axis of symmetry formula. So I'm going to write that down. Axis of symmetry formula. Now, we've talked in our previous unit, on Unit 10, how to find the axis of symmetry. And if you remember, what we did back then is we factored the problem, we solved to find the two x-intercepts, and then once we found the two x-intercepts, we counted our way to the middle and found the axis of symmetry. Do you guys remember that? Okay, now we're going to find an easier way, and it looks like this. X equals opposite of b over 2a. Opposite of b over 2a. And we're going to use that to find the vertex. And the vertex we're going to find the same way we did in our previous unit. We did that by using the x value from the axis of symmetry, because it's always the x value of the vertex, and then we used it to find our corresponding y value by plugging it in. We would take this, excuse me, and plug it in, plug into the original function, and then we would find our corresponding y value. Okay, we're going to see some examples. Find the vertex. Number 1. Y equals 2x squared minus 16x plus 3. Vertex, blank, and AOS. Remember, AOS stands for axis of symmetry. Now, technically, I'm asking for the vertex first and then the axis of symmetry, but in reality, we're going to find the axis of symmetry first and then the vertex. So I'm asking for them out of order, but we can figure it out. Okay. So we're going to use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. In order to do that, we need to know what a and b are. A is the leading coefficient, 2. B is negative 16. We don't need the c, so I'm not going to write it, but c is 3 if you needed it. Okay, so we are going to do x equals opposite of b over 2 times a. What is b? Negative 16 over 2 times a. A is 2. b, negative 16. A is 2. Okay, opposite of negative 16, that gives me positive 16 over 2 times 2 is 4. And that gives me x equals 4. That is my axis of symmetry. X equals 4. Now, remember what you do. You plug it in. You take that 4 and you plug it in. That's what we did in our previous unit as well. We found our axis of symmetry differently, but the vertex we're going to find the same way, by plugging it in. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Y equals 2 blank squared minus 16 blank plus 3. And what am I plugging into all the blanks? The 4 from the axis of symmetry. 4 and 4. And we just follow our order of operations. 4 squared is 16, so 2 times 16 minus 16 times 4 is 64 plus 3. 2 times 16. You can plug all this in your calculator. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. Actually, put pause, work it out, come back and check. You should end up with negative 29. So my vertex is the x value of 4, because we always use the x value from the axis of symmetry, comma negative 29. And that there is your answer. Okay? Let's try another one. Number 2. Y equals x squared plus 8x plus 4. V for vertex, blank. AOS for axis of symmetry, blank. Okay, so even though it asks for the vertex first, we are going to find the axis of symmetry first using our formula. X equals the opposite of b over 2a. So over here I'm going to write my a and my b. A is 1, the leading coefficient. B is my number in front of the x. C is my constant at the end. I don't need it, so I'm not going to write it. X equals opposite of b over 2 times a. Opposite of b is 8 over 2 times a. A is 1. Opposite of 8 is negative 8. Earlier, I had a negative and it made it positive. This time it's just a negative with a positive, so it's going to stay negative over 2. X equals negative 4. All right, what do I do with that negative 4? I plug it in. I'll put a little note here, plug in, and that's what we're going to do again. We're going to plug in, and we get y equals blank squared plus 8 blank plus 4. And in all the blanks, I'm plugging in negative 4 and working it out. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. 8 times negative 4 is minus 32. And then plus 4. 16 minus 32 is negative 16. Plus 4. That gives you negative 12. So my vertex, always the x value from the axis of symmetry, negative 4 comma negative 12. And that there is your answer. Now you do have a word problem on your worksheet. I will do that one with you when I do homework questions in another video. That is it for this lesson.